I am welcoming Karen Cilevitz, a candidate for Ward 5. Hello, Karen.
Good morning, Marj. Thank you so much for the opportunity to have this discussion with you.
Oh, you're very welcome. Karen, I'm looking forward to hearing the responses to some questions I have sent you. I'm asking you to respond to each question within 2 minutes. First question, how would you describe the value of our heritage, and how would you like to see Richmond Hill's 150th anniversary celebrated next year?
Thank you for that question. It's so important. And you and I are seated on the Heritage Richmond Hill Committee, so we know extensively the value of our heritage. It's invaluable. Our heritage through the years, going all the way back 10,000 years to the indigenous people who lived on this land, to whom it still belongs, and we are guests. It's invaluable. So I've been working with the Heritage Richmond Hill Committee, or been part of it, since 2007, since I began the David Dunlap protection matter. So over the years, we have seen many of our heritage homes lost, and they get lost to demolition by neglect, or they get lost to demolition by approval. What we have to do is to ensure that we protect our heritage so that our present day and future day knows all about our past, is to ensure that at the Heritage Richmond Hill Committee, we are protecting what needs to be protected. As we come into the 150th year, what I would like to see is walking tours of our heritage areas, like in wards 4 and 2, and it's imperative, especially for that the younger generations are aware of where we came from, because it defines Richmond Hill. And so I'd like to see a real thrust, real collaborative working together with Heritage Richmond Hill over the next period of celebrations, 450th year. And I think that we'll be able to bring a lot of people's attention to what is needed and how we must treasure and respect our heritage, and how we move forward by incorporating it within what we're doing now. That's the most important thing.
Very good. Thank you. Moving on to the second question. The majority of Richmond Hill residents are very car dependent. This has us with a large carbon footprint, thus contributing to the degradation of our environment. Do you see us resigned to live like this? Would you support changes to the municipal zoning rules to permit non-residential uses in areas that are now strictly residential? Should new subdivisions be designed differently?
Okay, to deal with the first one about our carbon footprint, no, I do believe there will be a generational change, but it will take place over generations. And a generation is generally referred to as 25 years. So we are moving that way. Electric cars, we are moving towards having more electric charging stations everywhere. New buildings that are being built we are ensuring that electric charging stations are being built. Public transit must be used more, and we are also moving towards that as a generational change. It's not happening so much now, but it will happen as we continue to move forward and develop on our transit corridors with intensification development and public transit, which will be really like a spider web throughout southern Ontario, which is designed and mandated by Metrolinx in the province. People will be able to travel much easier along those transit corridors. And as we build complete communities in the future, that will also enable people to get out of their cars. So it is imperative and critical that we get out of our cars in order to minimize our carbon footprint. I'm not so sure it's going to make a remarkable change, but it'll make a change. I'm of the opinion that what we see now with the climate crisis and climate change is, I fear that we've crossed a Rubicon, and I don't think we can go backwards, but we can certainly start to mitigate where we are and try and push the crisis as far into the future as possible and manage what we have to manage. That's going to be very, very important. So hopefully that will occur. I'm sure that it will, but it's a mindset that has to change, and I believe that it will. No, I would not support any changes to the zoning in that manner. I believe that our neighborhoods must be protected. That's where people live, and that's their safe space. That's where they come after work. They need to relax there. We need to have very specific neighborhoods. You can have incorporated within those neighborhoods live work areas and mixed use condominiums and towers. That's imperative, because you have to bring retail and commercial into that as well. But the inner neighborhoods, those are sanctums. And I don't believe that there should be any zoning changes there at all. We must protect them. Okay. Should subdivisions be designed differently? That was the other part. Yes, and they are. We're getting there with secondary suites. So secondary suites are very, very important. They are now, they're mandated by the province, and Richmond Hill and York Region have them in their official plans. And this will enable our seniors to remain in their homes. It will also enable anybody who's in their house, wants to remain in their house, they can either rent a secondary suite or they can bring their in-laws in them. So into it. So it allows for generational family living, which is very important. And it's been done so much in other parts of the world before. And I believe that if we can start to follow that, I think that we will be in a much, much better place. So we're going to see those changes occur as we move forward in the years, and secondary suites are going to be built. You can already see that the first development that has that is the one on the eastern section of the David Dunlap Observatory lands. And the townhouses that front onto Bayview, they have secondary suites built at the back on top of the garage, and they're completely self-contained. So that's something you can see. We'll get better. We'll get better zoning mandates for somebody to sort of reconstruct their basement as an in-law suite as well. So that's also very important, because they have to be up to standard.
Okay, thank you for that comprehensive answer. Question 3. What do you see as Richmond Hill's vulnerabilities?
I think Richmond Hill's vulnerabilities are twofold. A, it's protecting the integrity of our city with regards to rampant overdevelopment. And that is on our intensification corridors as well as in our neighborhoods, and which is known as infill development. We have to make sure that as a city, as a municipality, and as part of York Region, we are managing and controlling the development coming in. Our infrastructure, parts of our infrastructure still have to catch up. So we don't want to be put into a situation where you have a plethora of condominiums or high density developments and the service is lowered. That cannot happen. So that's one thing that we have to be very aware of, both as a municipality and as a region. And the other point I believe that we have to be very aware of is our financial status as a municipality. Over the past 3 years, we've had a zero tax increase, which was to assist our residents and our business owners through the pandemic. And it served its purpose, that's for sure. But I wouldn't continue to support something like that through the years, because what a zero tax increase does, it will ultimately, through the years, it will deplete our coffers and it will cause services to be lowered, because we won't have the finances in order to support them. And services are imperative for our residents. And that's one of my priorities, is to make sure that our residents continue to be served as well as they always have.
Thank you. 4th question. Imagine there was a lottery for municipalities and Richmond Hill won $50 million. How would you like to see it spent?
If only, right? But I don't even know if the Municipal Act would let us do that. However,
Okay.
in an alternate universe,
Yeah.
my heart says that I would like to use it to build our civic precinct. So I was chair of the Civic Precinct Task Force last term, and we had brought forward a plan, but it was ultimately it was denied. It was not approved and cancelled. So there is still a mindset amongst many of our residents that we should have a civic precinct at Major Mackenzie and Young. And I really do feel that that is necessary. It brings our municipal government to the center of our town. We now have the Dave Barrow Square there, and there are many, many things we can do there. Maybe it doesn't have to be as big as what we proposed previously, because so much has changed through the pandemic as to how we work and all of that. But we need a civic center. We need a place where people can go, where they know that they all belong together. Could have an amphitheater for concerts. It could have a skating rink and a smaller municipal building that now would be needed to have all the staff members and the council members work there, and council chambers as well. I think we would get far better amount of people actually attending our council meetings if we had a centralized civic center. So that's what my heart wants, but my head says something different. My head says that we should maybe take that money and work one-on-one with the development industry to ensure affordable and attainable housing actually does come to fruition much sooner than it's going to. We are mandated to make 35% of all new developments as affordable, or as I prefer to call it, is attainable housing. And I believe if we had that money, we could use it to work collaboratively with the development industry, which is very, very necessary as a team, to make sure that we can hit all our targets, and those who are crying for affordable or attainable housing would be able to get it sooner. But as I said, that's in a perfect world. Other than that, affordable and attainable housing will come. It is coming, but it's going to be a very slow process. And it's not really going to just pop up. It's going to take a long time. Developments take a long time to build. They can take years and years and years. So $50 million in our back pockets, I think, would help us attain those goals in a very, very good way.
Okay, thank you for that response. Second part of our candidate conversation. I have 7 fun facts about the candidates. They're to be answered quickly and with a smile. Okay, first one. Are you a tea or coffee drinker?
Tea.
Tea, okay. Do you prefer ebooks or real books?
Oh, I prefer real books with pages. I'm a visual learner. I still like to feel the pages, and I like to read.
Okay. Do you say ketchup or ketchup? I
say ketchup now, but I used to say tomato sauce. In South Africa, ketchup was called tomato sauce, but I do say ketchup now.
Ketchup. What is your ideal place for a vacation?
Oh, I still love Walt Disney World. Please God, it's okay. We took my children there many times. We went there, so I think 12 or 13 times through their childhood and into their being teenagers. And I just love that place. It holds very special memories for me, and that would be my go-to. Okay. Do you have a Mac or a PC? I have a PC, but I do have an iPhone. Okay. Okay. What is your favorite vegetable? Oh, God help me, potatoes. Potatoes? Okay. And have you ever played pickleball? This is so interesting because not as an adult, but I did as a child in school in South Africa. It wasn't called pickleball, it was called netball. And it was one of our extracurricular activities that we used to play in primary and high school together with field hockey, soccer, track and field swimming, and all of that, because we were much more of an outdoor society because of the weather, right? So I loved playing netball, pickleball as a child and a teenager, and I certainly hope to do that again as an adult as we build more courts, especially the new hub that's going to come on the David Dunlap Observatory Panhandle lands. I think that it's going to be spectacular, and I really look forward to joining that.
Okay. Thank you, Karen, for participating. I wish you very well with this campaign, and I hope to see you around the city soon.
Thank you very much, Marj. I really appreciate this opportunity. My best to you and to everybody out there listening. Thank you.